Hello, everybody. Welcome to the decks of the weekend. This time on Tuesday instead of a Monday because I returned last night from my week in Sofia, in Bulgaria, for 1 week, where I didn't stream, but yeah, I tested a lot of Pioneer. So we have some Pioneer to talk about today. Not only Pioneer, I also want to talk about other formats, other decks. Once again, here to talk to you about the Initiative Mechanic in Legacy. I am so excited to play. These cards are finally on Magic Online. The Initiative Mechanic, I have explained this to you, I believe it was last week, but I don't mind to go back to back because I think it's a huge change. I believe this card is really underrated and was really underrated, and now that is on Magic Online, it just burst the top 8. Three of them in Saturday with a winner, this list in front of me, and one of them on Sunday. I'm very curious to try this deck for D4 seasons. I believe that there's a lot to test and practice. This card, Weapon of Venture, it's a 3 mana 3/3 that can deal 15 damage on turn, the turn after it comes into play. It goes on turn 1 with the 8 fast lands and the 8 Chromox Pedal, as well as just Seasoned Engineer, very similar. I love this list in particular. You have a lot of cards that are like Spellbinder, which is also part of the party for the Dungeoneer. You're also Chalice deck, so you don't play any 1-drops. Definitely going to put out some videos about this deck today, because I've streamed this deck in the morning. I was super impressed. No spoilers, but it's gonna be a good league. So yeah, check it out. Let's talk about a little bit of Pioneer, because I've played a lot of Pioneer this week. This is the deck that I didn't play in the main event, and the main event I decided to play stock Rakdos. But this is the deck that I won on Sunday with in the Classic. It was a 200 people event. Actually, I didn't have this, but I had Pith and Needle. I thought that Skinning Fence, you could just choose. You could just choose the card, but you can't. So at the tournament, I was playing with Pit and Needle, and glad I did so, because Scheming Fence, you can't just name a card like I thought. But anyway, this is the list that I've also streamed this morning with. It's gonna be up on my channel tomorrow. It's a deck based around this enchantment, Enigmatic Incarnation. It was a lot around Magic Online, but it's kind of a meme deck, because it's like tier 2. Um, it has a very good matchup against Rakdos, which was the main reason why I decided to bring it at the tournament the day after. It has a fine matchup against Phoenix and Mono Green, which were the only decks I played against. I played against only these 3 decks in the whole tournament. It's a little bit weak to very fast decks like Mono White, especially Italia. It's very weak against Blue White Control Lotus Field, so it has some flaws. I decided to just go for a stock Rakdos at the tournament, at the original championship. It went poorly. I didn't make day 2, I went 3-4 drop. But the next day, this deck brought me some happiness. I was very happy with the mana base. I worked a lot on the mana base. To make it short, it's really impossible to make it short, because again, it's been hours and days into this mana base. But the goal to understand the mana base is every red sources needs to be in a Shockland or a Triumph because of the Chain to the Rocks. Every swamp needs to be on a Shockland or a Triumph because of Leyline Binding. A swamp, it's only a splash color. I used to play more black cards like Trial of Ambition, things like that. I decided to only be a splash color, only 8 sources for Colorless Blood Mage and Siege Rhino, which are very important cards to tutor up with your Enigmatic Incarnation. I decided to play some Pathways over the Hinterland Double, because I didn't want them to come to play tapped together with Sacred Foundry and Savage Triumph. So again, a lot. If you have to play this deck, I really encourage to net deck this mana base. If you want to change some spells, sure, but you can't just add black cards if your mana base is only 8 black sources. But yeah. I liked also Elder Gargoyle over Toastmere because of the Phoenix matchup. I liked Coma, very strong against Greasefang or Mono Green, just because you can continuously tap like Nykthos or Karn, whereas Agent of Treachery sometimes, like, you didn't really want to sacrifice a Leyline Binding to get Agent. But yeah, overall, this deck is cool. I definitely suggest to you, if you like to have fun with the quote-unquote meme decks, can definitely just you can do some crazy stuff. Like, if you play against Rakdos, it's gonna be so much fun because you just crush them so hard with all these like weird threats, and also against Phoenix thanks to the rest in peace in the sideboard, a lot of removal spells for the creature and Colossal Blood Mage. You can get them, good. The final deck I want to talk to you about today is Pauper. Uh, Very weird decks this week won the Pauper Challenge. Because on Saturday it was Tron and on Sunday it was Wolves Combo. I'm gonna talk about Wolves Combo another time because mm, I feel like Mono Green Tron has to be the deck that everyone, not everyone, but a lot of people are happy about. So there's a new card here, Energy Refractor. When it comes to play, you draw a card and you pay 2 mana and you add 1 mana of any color. You might think, wait, this card is very similar to a card that I remember. It's called Prophetic Prism. Prophetic Prism had this one. It's banned in a Pauper. So despite it looks like better Energy Refractor, it is actually because it's banned in Pauper. It was banned because of Tron. It's just the strongest deck. It was necessarily the strongest deck online because of how long it took. So you actually had to like draw games, but it was the best deck in paper and things like that. Now they unbanned the Expedition map and they printed Energy Refractor as well as banning Prophetic Prism and Bonder's Ornament. While that might sound like still not good enough, well, this deck again just won Saturday Challenge. You have Moon Drifter, you have Mnemonical, you use Ephemerate or Ghostly Flicker to gain a lot of value, and then you use like cards like Mystical Teaching to set up, either get your Fog, the Moment's Peace, get your Weather the Storm, or just get card advantage cards like Ghostly Flicker with the Mnemonical, or Counterspell like Unwind, Sweeper like Breath Weapon, and so on and so forth. You even have the Stoner Dignitary, plus Mnemonical, plus Ephemerate. It's a loop, and every turn you fog your opponent, basically. Or rather, they can't attack, so. And then eventually you win with Dinner of a Horror, Mnemonical, Ephemerate. You get to bounce a land every turn. Yeah, that's the deck. Pretty cool. Slow, not the best experience to play against. I'm not personally the biggest fan of Tron, but I know a lot of people are that play Pauper, so here we are. Crystal Grotto is a new card, slightly better than some of the other lands that this deck used to play. This deck used to play the one that pay 4, you put 2 counters on it. I guess Crystal Grotto is better because you don't care about the 2 counters, but you care about scrying. Yeah, the League of Pauper restarted in my area, so I'm gonna be back to play some Pauper in paper. But first, my next event is Four Seasons, which is a modern and legacy event happening in Bologna. It's going to be super important because there's, on Friday, a Team Trios event. It's going to be modern, legacy, vintage. It's proxy allowed. On Saturday, I have the European Legacy Masters, which I'm invited. It's a very, very, very nice event. It's going to be legacy. I'm definitely exploring the initiative decks. And then on Sunday, Saturday is also the modern main event, but I won't be playing it. On Sunday, there's a main event legacy again. So on my channel, expect some more legacy. I will be back with modern. This week I decided to not feature any modern deck because I saw the top 8 list of the challenges. Nothing really stood out, but I think these 3 decks really did. So yeah, thank you for watching. I'll be back on stream on a very regular basis on my YouTube channel, always, every day. Thank you for watching. Thank you for following.